That's not even scriptural or biblical. God is a covenant God. He said, I will do this if you will do that. I will do this when you do this. But God, I want the blessing, but I don't want to do it. Sorry. We're so sissified. Oh, but you don't understand, Brother Jeff, what I've been through. You're right. I don't. But God does. And he still said you have to do it. Whether you want to or not. Whether you feel like it or not. Whether it seems like the right thing to do or not. He said you have to do it. Okay. Going over great. Thank you, guys. Give these guys a great God bless you. So what are you going to do about it? Very good. Yep. Sister Becky just reminded me, she said that God's not going to do what he's told you to do. Hang on. Say it one more time. Very good. You have to grow. She just reminded me of that. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Becky. So let me ask you a question. How many were here last week? Watched online last week? Did something? You know, I love online. I'm so glad we have it. It's amazing to have it. I love it that we have it. I love it. It's great. And it's because there's folks all over the place that can't be in church with us because they don't live here, but they are able to be in service with us. I love it. I love one of the best things that ever came out of COVID was this. And this is. Well, I've heard people say, well, I don't like it. Well, whatever. Okay? But you don't have to like it. But one of the best things that happened was we had to actually figure out how to do some stuff. Okay? And Landon and Abby and Ethan were up here going, I don't know how to do this. They started plugging stuff in and it worked. So hallelujah. They've learned since then. I mean, they do a great job. Our live stream looks great. Thank you, Ethan. It looks great. Sounds great. Comparative to the size of church we have, we are awesome. And it just is, and I appreciate it. But there's something different. If you can be in church, don't sit at home, because there's nothing like grabbing somebody's hand and saying, I'm going to agree with you today. I'm going to agree with you today. We're going to touch heaven together today. What's that song? Give me your hand. Let's agree together. I love that old song, man. So take my hand. Let's agree together. Okay, so we take that hand. So there's something about being in the house of God with God's people that's different than watching online. So I encourage you. I thank you for watching online. But I encourage you to come to church if you can come to church. We need you in the building. Somebody said, we need you in the building. Amen, because I'm so glad. Thank you for everybody that's here today and that's never been here. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you for being here. We love you. Those that haven't been here in a while, thank you for being back. I'm surprised you're back, but it's great. Hallelujah. Listen, every week when people come back, I'm surprised. So it's great because I'm the preacher here and I know me. And so, and just let you know, last week we talked about sowing, right? Billy didn't know what I was preaching. And I told you for the next few weeks we're going to talk about some sowing things. Because I have never taught this in our church because y'all give. It's not about giving to me. It's about helping you get to a place. I know this already. I've lived this for 30 years. I've watched God do God's amazing, amazing things in my life. I've seen God do this. And please, I want you to look at my nose right now. All the hustle and bustle that's going on in the back. Look at my nose. Listen to me. I'm not just talking about tithing. Everybody wants to break it down. Oh, he wants us to tithe. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about sowing and reaping. Thank you, 8 people that heard that. Because inevitably, when I preach about this, when I say something about this, well, I didn't ask you about your tithing. I'm asking about your sowing and your reaping. We good? Everybody hear me? Let me make sure you hear me. Take your finger, do this. Put it on your nose. Okay, most of y'all did it. Okay, great, because most people do that. All right. Because most people don't. I want to make sure you're listening to me. Okay? Take your hand, raise it as high as you can. Okay, just a little bit higher. Now, why do you do that when I said as high as you can? There's always something more you can give. I'll move on. Last week we learned about seed and faith. Seed is those things we need to bring forth what we desire. Faith is the stuff that brings forth what your seed is planted for. I'll say that slowly for the people that can't write fast. Seed is those things that need to be, seed is those things needed to bring forth what you desire. Faith is the stuff that brings forth what your seed was planted for. Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the what? Stuff of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. We learn to take dominion over our seed and protect it from all enemies. You're in charge of your seed, not me. You are. You're in charge of the amount you sow. You're in charge of where you sow. You're in charge of what you do with it, how you protect it. You're in charge of it, not me. Not your neighbor. Turn to your neighbor. Say, neighbor, it's my seed. Turn to the neighbor you like. Say, neighbor, it's my seed, not yours. Thank you. So we have taken dominion over our seed. It is ours. What does dominion mean? Preeminence. We own it. God gave man dominion over the earth. I'm going to move on. Boy, that's really something I would say right there, but I'm not. Okay, so God gave man dominion over the earth, over every plant, every animal, everything. God gave dominion over it. So we have dominion just like God gave dominion over the earth. God gave us dominion over our seed. Are you with me? If we are to plant seed, we have to know what season it is. Oh, come on now. We don't plant anytime you want. We plant during planting season. Oh, Jesus. We're going to go somewhere today. Y'all ready? You ready? Take that emergency brake off. We're going somewhere today. Listen, we don't plant anytime we want to. We plant when it's time to plant. Sowing season. Somebody said sowing season. You have to prepare the soil. As I was praying and people were at the altars, and just so you guys know, it's not that I don't care if people are at the altar, but unless the Lord tell me to go pray for them, I'm standing where I'm at. Well, that's your job. That ain't my job. They need to work some stuff out. God needs me to be involved, I'll get involved. I got somebody in somebody's ear telling them something stupid, then I'll intervene. But other than that, work it out. We can work it out. Little Beatles for you. Listen, sowing season. I like sowing season. I like it. And I'm going to throw this at you, and I want you to get it really quick and just put a little parenthetically insert this, okay? At some point, you can always grow something. But you have to get to the point where you are sowing at all seasons and not just when you have to receive something. What do you mean by that? The farmers are going to get ready here in just a little while. They're going to plant their winter wheat, right? They have to harvest their spring wheat, harvest their wheat that they had for the summer, and they're going to start getting the soil ready for winter wheat. Now, I don't know the difference. I've lived in Oklahoma all my life. Wheat looks like wheat to me. I don't know. I don't have a clue, okay? It's all the same to me. I don't have a clue. I've never been on a combine nor a tractor. I don't know anything about none of that stuff. You know, I threw some stuff in a pot this year, and some tomatoes grew out. So hallelujah. All right, so I'm just letting you know. I don't know nothing about growing nothing. Don't want to, okay? Just let you know. That's why they have grocery stores. It's not the same. It is to me because I don't like tomatoes. So it's all right, so listen. So here's the deal. I don't like it. So they start preparing the soil. And as I was here praying and I was watching what was going on, In my spirit, I got to check and say, I'm preparing soil. I'm getting it ready. I'm getting it ready. See, first of all, I don't know about you guys, but I know a little bit about something. And right now, when it's 107 degrees outside, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. And listen, and all you people that tell me when it's cold, well, it's good that it's cold because it kills the ticks. I'm going to tell you right now, it's good that it's 900 degrees because it kills the ticks. Baloney both ways, okay? Just let y'all know. 107 degrees outside. Are you crazy? All right, so act like it's Oklahoma in the summertime or something. Okay, listen. So sowing, we have to prepare the soil. Right now, I guarantee, right now, your yard is hard as a rock. You just have to take a stick out there and go and put a seed in the ground and cover it up with some more hard dirt and say, boy, I hope that grows, because it's not going to grow. Because first of all, the root system won't be able to get through the cement called your yard. And it won't be able to be any of that won't happen because the soil is not prepared. It has not been tilled up and broken up and done, what is it called? Fallow ground. It's not broken up ground. And it's now tilled up, is where the root system can get through the cracks and it can grow something. Am I close? Okay. All right. And so understand this, that we as people have to be broken up sometimes because our hearts get so hard that we are like concrete, and God's trying to stick a stick through and try to plant something inside of us because our hearts are so hard because we have been beaten, and the heat and all those things have taken all the moisture out of us, all the love out of us, and we're sitting here saying, you ain't gonna hurt me. I will not cry. I will not. You cannot do that. So God has to begin to break up the soil by adding organics to the soil. And there's nothing more organic to a Christian life than prayer. Prayer is the essential thing. Prayer is never wasted time. Prayer is always beneficial. If you'll pray, He will begin to break up that soil in your life. Prayer is never a waste of time. Prayer is always an organic supplement to your soil. You have got to have the organics in the soil or nothing's going to grow. Some of you, I wonder why you have never received a harvest in your life, but your heart is so hard you cannot even get anything in your life. You're so angry at everybody all the time. Nobody does anything right. The preacher don't preach right. The usher don't usher right. The singer don't sing right. The player don't play right. The openers of the door don't open the door right. Nobody at work does anything right. Nobody in your house does anything right. Nobody at Walmart does anything right. I don't know why God won't bless me. Because you're mean. And you're hateful. I'll move along. I don't know why. I know. Everybody else know. You're the only one don't know. I'll move. Nothing's more organic than prayer. Prayer always, always, always begins to break up your heart. It does. It begins to break up your heart. It begins to break up the hardness of your heart and opens your heart up so that God can do something with your heart. Some of y'all are so mad right now at your spouses. You haven't talked to each other for real in weeks. It's been months since you've been together. Oh, it got quiet in this house. I like it when I'm right. And wonder why God won't when you ask Him to. Let me just give you scripture. You have to get along with your wife, husband, that your prayers be not hindered. That's in the Bible? Yes, it's in the Bible. Read it. Look it up. I'm not telling you everything. Look it up. You have one of these, right? How many have one of these? Smartphone, got one? Sweet. Do this. Do this. Watch this. This is really cool. Get that microphone. That my prayers be not hindered. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, as being heirs together at the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. 1 Peter 3:7. Well, that was tough. I just don't know where to look to find scripture. How about in your hand? How about right here? How about instead of getting on Facebook and whining about something, you find a scripture? Well, I don't like Joe Biden. I don't care if you like Joe Biden or not. He's the president. You got to pray for him. I don't care. Woo. Got quiet again. I pray for salvation for him. I pray the whole team get saved, filled with the Holy Ghost. I pray Donald Trump gets saved. How dare you say that? He's not my prophet. He's not my pastor. Great president, I thought. I may not. But I pray he gets saved. You don't talk like he talks and be saved. I don't mean getting y'all chilly, but if it's in you, it's coming out you. Woo, Jesus. What's on the inside comes on the outside when you get squeezed. I'll move on. I can't believe he said that about Donald Trump. I just love, listen, whatever. I don't care. Whatever. Move on. Trump 2024 flag, fly it. I don't care what you got. I don't care. But I'm just telling you right now that you are so angry with the other side, you can't even talk to your neighbor anymore. Do you remember when it was considered rude to talk about politics? Do you remember when it was considered rude for somebody to ask you who'd you vote for? Ain't none of your business. That's why there's a curtain. I don't, none of your business. Boy, got quiet again. I like it when I'm right. I like it when I'm right. People get all fidgety. People have to go get drinks of water. Go to the bathroom 28 times. Wonder how come my sewer always clogged up. Well, I don't know. It's a mystery. All right, listen. Mystery. So after I have prayed and God has broken up the soil, I've got to do some other things to it. I got to mulch the thing. I got to put some mulch on it. What's mulch? Some dead stuff. I got to put some mulch on it. Because what does the mulch do? It conserves the water that I placed on my seed. It keeps it moist. It keeps it ready. It doesn't let it dry out. It protects my seed from the outside. Not just the dirt, but I got mulch on. I'm mulching. I'm taking care of my stuff. It's protecting your seed from the heat, from the cold, from the animals, any outside enemy. Protecting your seed. Mulching also does it. It identifies where your seed has been planted. Listen, I see people planting seed and stuff, and I'm like, you guys are crazy. I'm not a big TBN Daystar guy because it drives me bananas. Okay? So after service, I'm going to put this. This is water, by the way. This is fake Dr. Pepper. This is from Mark and Doris gave me this. Actually water. So after service, we're going to put that in bottles. We're going to sell that for $1 a bottle because it was underneath the anointing. Y'all laugh, but people buy it. Okay. I got Jerusalem water. Great. I got spring water. I don't know what you want me to do. Okay. But I see y'all, some of y'all mad now because y'all got bottles of that junk at your house. But okay. I'm not really doing that. Okay. I'm just like, I saw someone doing that. I'm like, you've got to be kidding. I watched one time a guy bring he had people. He had people bring gallons of water to place on the altar during service. And they were going to take that water that had been under the anointing and give it to people or whatever. And that, because it was anointed water now, because it was been whatever. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying I'm not buying. Okay? I'm gonna have to see some proof. Okay? Doubting Jeff's gonna have to see some proof. Okay? I'm gonna have to stick my hand in his side, and I was gonna have to see. Okay? It just irritates because we are so desperate for God to do something. We'll do anything except do what God said. We'll do anything except for do what God told us to do in His Word. Some slick-haired, shiny-shoe preacher tell you something, and you'll go do it. But God's Word said, well, I don't know, that's old, but I don't know. Well, I don't. What? This is proven. They're 50. This is millennial old. They're 50. Who am I going to trust? The book is right. They're wrong. Okay, there we go. Boy got quiet up in there. Listen, I'm sorry I talked about your favorite preacher. But I'm just telling you, I'm going to bring it. So mulching identifies where your seed's been planted. You got to know where you planted your seed. You with me? It also makes you remember why it's there. Having your soil ready. Get it ready. Soil must be prepared before you can plant anything in it. So let's go back. What is seed? Seed is it's the things needed to bring forth what you desire. What is faith? Faith is the stuff that brings forth the seed, what the seed was planted for. So I'm planting it for a reason. I need to see the harvest of it. So how do I do that? I prepare my soil, make my soil ready. I don't want any wayside. I don't want any falling by the wayside. I don't want the birds to come and eat it. I want to prepare my soil so there's no wayside. I want to prepare my soil so there's plenty of depth for everything. 2 years ago, I planted and I did some raised beds, and I didn't put enough soil in it, so everything sprang up really fast. But it was stunted in its growth, and it died really quickly because the root system couldn't go deep enough to get what it needed. And so I don't want that to happen in my spiritual seed life. I want to make sure there's enough in there. Help me now. Make sure there's enough in there so that the roots will run deep, that I will not have anybody say, well, from a lack of depth, it died when the sun rose up. I want to prepare my soil so there's no thorny places. I don't want the thorns to come up over them and choke them out because I'm planning for a harvest, and I'm not looking for it to be choked out by the devil and the cares of the earth, cares of the world. I'm wanting to plant on good ground. I'm preparing it for good ground. I'm cultivating it. I'm seeding it. I'm putting cow poop on it and chicken poop on it and mixing it all together and making sure it's all together. Fertilizer. Putting some fertilizer on it. And making sure the ground is ready. It's broken up. It's fertile. It's deep. It has nutrients in it. Now, Sister Laurie Lacey, you're my resident farmer I go to. Okay? What is your favorite tomato seed? Romas? That ain't a real tomato. You like, okay, Romas. We'll go Romas. So, Romas. So, do you plant beefsteak seeds saying, man, I hope I get some Romas? No. No. So, Clay. Where's Clay? There he is. So, Clay, I don't know what y'all grow. Y'all grow stuff, right? Okay. Let's say, what's your favorite squash? Yellow. Okay, yellow what? There's yellow fruitcake squash? Oh, crick. I said fruitcake. I was like, I've never heard of such. Okay. So yellow whatever, okay? So do you plant zucchinis going, man, God, make that into yellow, whatever you said, squash? No. I planted cucumbers this year. Man, made a bunch of them. He had 27 billion squash and across the street from me. They're still laying on the ground, burn up. He couldn't even get all of them. He couldn't even get all of them. He had buckets full of things. Couldn't get all of them. And so here's the deal. We planted cucumbers. I don't know what kind of cucumbers there were. I just got seeds that said cucumbers. Threw them out there. I don't care. Because I don't eat them anyway. I don't care. Okay? And so but I didn't say, God, make these cucumbers into the best potatoes ever. No. You have to plant the seed for the right thing, right? And I didn't take it, and I didn't just take my cucumber seeds and get a bucket of sand and throw it in there and say, grow. No. Why? Because you have to have the right soil with the right seed to produce the right thing, correct? Okay, so I want good ground. Good ground. Okay, turn around, everybody, and look right there where Teresa's at, right where her hand's at. Okay, there used to be a plaque there. Used to be a plaque right there. Wave at him, Teresa. Okay. Okay. Used to be a plaque there. Used to have 25 names on it. Each person on that plaque gave $100. This was 1977. They gave $100 for the pew you're sitting in 1977. 46 years ago. And you're still sitting in the very pew they bought. However, they were redone in 1999, I believe. The padding was different and stuff like that. It's the same pew, though. Same pew. The year me and Billy left, they got a new church band, new pews, new sanctuary, new lighting. Got rid of the riffraff. They got, I went to Ada, he went to Alaska, and they were, thank God. And so all was well. So in 1977, if you'll notice, there's 25 pews that look the same. There's 4 that are different. We have 29 total. Any pastor worth his salt knows how many pews he's got, right? So they needed $2,500 in 1977 to buy pew. $100 now is like, big deal. $100. We'll spend that at lunch. I'm just saying, well, if you go take your families anywhere, you're spending $100, unless you are a normal Sunday non-tipper. The waiters and waitresses hate. Well, my bread was cold. Here's 25 cents. Don't go out and eat that. Make your own bread. Okay, they aren't in charge of the bread. I'll move on. Well, in today's total, that was $2,500. In today's money, at 3.61% rate of increase of inflation from 1977 to now, that would be $12,611.01 is what they were asking the church in 1977 for the equivalent of. $2,500.77 is $12,611 today. They needed 25 people to give $100, and you got your name on a little plaque right there. And James and Shirley were here, and I'm sure their names was on it. Everett Hale, their name was on it. Let me think. The Max, the Ford. Trying to think of all these people. That was Smithies. Definitely Smithies. They're probably the first one on there. Man, I love Ken Smith. He was all, listen, this is what Ken's all about. Church needs it? Okay, how much? He's all about it, man. He has never one time failed to give to anything that we've ever done that I know of. I mean, I don't know everything, but I know a lot of stuff. I've never seen him not give to some project we did, something we were doing. I've never failed to see him not say, you know what, I'm giving. And he's been blessed for it. We got quiet. I'm not beating you up. I'm just giving you some statistics. Okay, listen. Today, it was $100 a person. Then today, it'd be $504 each for a pew. 5 times what it was in 1977. Well, I forgot to tell you that the average income in the U.S. in that time was between $13,500 a year to $16,010 a year. The good old days. You're sitting in the pew that somebody sowed a seed for 46 years ago. 46 years ago, somebody paid for that, for somebody to pick the veneer off because y'all terrible. Who does this? On purpose. I didn't do it. I didn't say you did. I'm asking you who did it. They did it on purpose. It didn't just fall off. So 46 years ago, this church, this body, said, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to buy new pews. Now, I could bring you out a relic of one of the old pews we have, but there's too much stuff upstairs, I can't get to it. Just a wooden bench, probably 100 years old. Rocks back and forth. Has holes in it where it was screwed to the floor, so it wouldn't rock back and forth. And you're sitting on these, they're actually bolted down. Those aren't, but these are. They're bolted down. So 46 years ago, somebody did a perennial blessing in their life for you. Oh, we're going to go. Do you realize that every time that, listen, I don't know, Cheryl, Billy, Carol, I'm sure Carol and Larry's name was on that plaque. I forgot the people. I forget. Leonard and Babe, Babe and Ethelene, I'm sure were on that plaque. I'm sure they were. No doubt. I don't know what happened to it. I thought I could find it, but I couldn't find it. Because I was going to use it for a prop. But those seeds that were planted 46 years ago are still blessing those people today. Because every person that sits on those seats that they paid for, before you were thought of, they paid for your seat. How many were born after 1977? After 1977. Very good. You weren't even alive. And somebody bought your seat. Because they said, you know what I'm going to do? Every time somebody sits in this seat and somebody's heart gets saved and somebody's life gets changed, I am part of that blessing. When they come into the house of God, they are part of that blessing. I know you're fanning yourself and it's hot in here, and I'm sorry. But we can bring back the water coolers and stick them back in the wall. That's why the plugs are so high. Because the water coolers were stuck through the wall. They were plugged in right there. So y'all don't know. It ain't always been like this. The carpet that I am really struggling with, that has runners in it, we didn't have carpet when I was a kid. We had carpet runners down the aisle, but the whole floor was just wooden. And there was carpet for you to kneel on at the altar. But there underneath the pews was just wood. There was no carpet. Carpet, that's for the Baptist church. We don't have carpet. The Assembly of God has carpet. We don't have carpet. So all this stuff, somebody purchased. Someone said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take some seed and I'm going to put it in the ground. And I'm going to see what happens. $100 back then was 0.06 of their entire income for the year. $100 was a sacrifice. It was a sacrifice in 1977. It wasn't, let's go out and eat. Thank God it was only $120. It was a sacrifice. They gave 0.06% of their entire income for the year to give into the kingdom of God. So without this seed, there's no pews to sit on. Without it. Without that seed, there's no cameras. Without the seed that we place, there's no piano, there's no drums, there's no ministry going out of this building unless we're planting seed. We forget that somebody paid what you're blessed with today. Somebody paid it. Somebody paid the way. In 1950, this building didn't exist. They had a board meeting in Tecumseh, Oklahoma, the District Board of Oklahoma, Pentecostal Church of God, to determine whether they even wanted to put a church in Seminole, Oklahoma. And they found this corner location, and they bought it. They began to get a church in 1950s when the first, that's documentation from the general board, district board. And we forget sometimes that somebody else drove the nail. Somebody else poured the foundation. Somebody else placed the blocks. Somebody else carried the old church out the front door because they put the blocks around it and said, we remodeled it. Sometimes we forget that my pastor was sneaky. Sometimes we forget that he had to do what he had to do. Sometimes we forget that somebody's watching your babies while you're worshiping God. Sometimes we forget somebody's taking care of the children in the back while you're worshiping God. Sometimes we forget there's 35 people out north of town, and Ricky and Israel and Michaela and whoever else goes out there. I don't know who else goes out there. Is taking care of your teenager while you're able to come to the house of God. Sometimes we forget that the practice that takes place for the music to be good, because they want it to be good for you. They don't want you to go, oh. Nobody wants to see this face when you're singing. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we forget that somebody swept off the porch before you got here. Sometimes we forget somebody wiped off the glass, I hope, before you opened the door. Sometimes we forget somebody had cookies and water and bananas and stuff ready before you got here. Because somebody paid for what you are blessed with. Who are you going to have a perennial blessing to? Perennial blessing. What's a perennial? What's a perennial flower? It comes back every year. Who are you going to have a perennial blessing to? What have you done? What have you given? What have you done for God that you say, I'm going to bless this church with this, and it's every year it's going to be a blessing for somebody else. I'm well past middle age. Unless I'm going to be 108, I'm done past. Didn't mean to bore you, Kayla. Okay. So, unless I'm going to be 108 years old, I'm past middle age. That's hard to swallow. Just like, you know, I got more days behind me than I have ahead of me. I'm not in the fourth quarter, but I'm in the third. We just kicked off the third. Okay. We just kicked off the third. Got a lot of game left. Okay, go. got a lot left. Okay. So, but who you gonna bless that outlives you? Most of the people who pay for these pews are dead. They are. They were in their 50s and 60s 46 years ago. Most of them have gone by way of the grave. Not all of you, but some of them. Most of them most of them, their blessing has outlived them. And it continues to live. And as long as I'm pastor, I'll continue to remind you of those people, because those are the people that I grew up in this church with that blessed me to have a place to call myself Pastor Jeff. I'll move on because I can see you really move. Okay. In 1977, 46 years ago, they blessed you. Still being blessed from the seed they planted in good ground. I'm going to share some information with you that most of y'all don't know. 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Someone say 4. Thank you. Okay. Didn't know if ball was coming. All right, sorry. So 4 years ago, this church borrowed $178,000 to raise up the old steel horse, to raise it up the middle of it to 35 feet. That means you had to have 3 new steel beams and concrete to go with it. That's not cheap. We did that, and we also wrapped that whole building with new metal, new siding, new everything, new insulation, new everything. So we borrowed that money 4 years ago. Somebody say COVID. Devil. We were kicking tail, man. We were rocking this, busting it out. That nonsense hit, and everything stopped. Everything. The stuff we used to be able to get, we couldn't get. And the stuff we could get, we couldn't afford to get. It was unreal. Unreal. So, to this day, right now, 4 years later, we owe $138,858.65, to be exact, to Security State Bank. Because we used that money, because the plan was, as we were rocking along, was we were going to use that money, borrow the rest of it, pay that off, and be done. But that didn't happen. So I ask you this morning, what are you going to do? We have deferred that payment for 4 years, interest only. It's time for it to go away. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because you know I'm going to ask you to do something. I wasn't here when you borrowed. But you benefiting from it. Let me just share this with you. Most of these people wasn't here 4 years ago. Sure wasn't here 11 years ago. Well, got quiet. Come on now. We planting seed, right? Woo! We'll plant some seed. Woo! Y'all shouting in. God gonna bless me. Woo! God gonna bless me. Oh, I got a blessing coming. I'm highly in favor, blessed of God. How are you? Are you? Let's see if you really are. Let's see if you really are. Are you ready to sow? Or are you just playing with it? Are you talking the talk or are you walking the walk? What are you going to do? I'm tired of begging the world. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of begging the world to put us into bondage. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of asking, oh, please put us into bondage. Oh, please. Can we please have a $9,000 a month payment, please? Please, oh, please. That's just for the building. Oh, can we have a $9,000 a month payment? Oh, well, please, please, please. That's not including the $10,000 a year for insurance and the $4,000 a month for utilities. That's a 16,000 square foot building. That's not this. That's not this. We could do this with 3 wall units. I'm asking. We got quiet. I'm tired of begging the world for what God's given. Everything we need is in this house. Kaylin, you're killing me. You need a nap or what? Okay. Stop. Okay. Listen. Everything we need is in this house. I feel like it's right here. And then Galen's bored with it. And so it's like right here. Okay. I feel like I may be trickling some over here. But listen to me. Listen. I'm not asking you to do anything that I haven't done. My wife and I personally, in the last 4 years, have put over $50,000 into this building. Us. We have. I'm not asking you to do anything that we haven't done. 50 grand in the last 4 years we've put into this building project. I didn't ask you for a dime. I've never asked you for a dime. Ever. I've never asked you to do anything. And it's my fault, and I'm sorry. Because you can't have the blessing if you're not part of it. If you're not part of it. Boy, it gets quiet. Why? Listen, I'll tell you why. We're getting there. Y'all with me? Okay, y'all hanging with me? You tracking with me? I'm not. Listen, we're not gonna attack you at the door and take your wallet. Okay? We need it gone. Haggai 1, 2 through 11 says it this way. Thus says the Lord of hosts. These people say the time has not yet come to rebuild the house of the Lord. Then the word of the Lord came by the hand of Haggai the prophet. It is a time for you yourselves to dwell in your paneled houses while the house of God lies in ruin. Now, therefore, thus says the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. You have sown much and harvested little. You eat, but you never have enough. You drink, but you never are filled. You clothe yourselves, and you're not warm. And he who earns wages, then he puts them into a bag with holes. But I just can't seem to get ahead. It's that Bidenomics keeping me down. I just can't seem to get ahead. I just can't do it. I work all the time and I just don't get paid, and the rich men of Richmond and all that stuff, and all we can't get ahead. I just don't understand have you sown a seed? Have you sown a seed? Have you placed something in the ground? No. No. Well, why haven't you? Scripture says to do it. Seed time and harvest time. Scripture asks us to plant a seed in the ground, receive a harvest. Well, why haven't you done that? Well, verse 7 says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways, go up to the hills and bring the wood and build the house, that I will take pleasure in it, and that you may be glorified, says the Lord God. You looked for much, and behold, it came to little. And when you brought it home, I blew it away. Why, declares the Lord of hosts? Because my house that lies in ruins, while each of you busies himself with his own house. I'm going to leave it there. I'm asking you to consider the Lord's house and plant a seed. I told my wife this wasn't going to go over good. That's probably why she's in the nursery. My house lies in waste, and yours is a masterpiece, God said, the prophet said. Now, I know that Haggai is talking to the Israelites about the temple. I get that. I'm not stupid. But I also know this, that God's house is still God's house. He still needs people to do what he's going to do. Listen, I'll go on. Consider your ways, he says. Haggai 1, 6 through 9. Put 6 through 9 back up there for me, please. Start with verse 6. I can feel it coming before the rapture. That's all right. It's frozen up. Oh, thank you. You have so much and bring in little. Stop for just a second. Why can't I give a harvest? Why can't I get the harvest that I want? But you have not. You bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but you have not. You're not filled. You're clothed, but you're still cold. And you earn wages, but you put them in a bag. And where'd all our money go? Anybody? I'm talking to anybody. God said, have you considered my house? Considered my house. Oh, you got a pool. Got new cars. Got a new house. Got new stuff. God's house sitting out there getting empty, getting old. I don't understand why I can't find. I can understand. I can understand. I don't participate in recession. I don't participate in it because he's not my. God's my source, not the world. God's my source. But I can't figure out why I just can't make the ends meet. I can't. Figured out real easy. Well, you said, Pastor, if I pay my tithe and give my offering, God will bless me. He will. But what are you doing with the blessing? What are you doing with it? Eating it on your own want and desires? Well, God wants me to be blessed. Truth. He does. I don't care if you have a new car, new truck, new mobile home, new wheel, whatever. He don't care. Don't care. But take care of his house first. Quit bringing your own junk here and dropping it off and acting like we should be happy to have it. You didn't want it. Why are you giving it to us? You don't want it in your house, but you want it in God's house. It ain't good enough for you. It's good enough for God's house. Well, you just have to wiggle the cord. It works. Instead of buying God the new one and you wiggling the cord. Just ask. Listen, this ain't just, and all you visitors that are here for the first time, I'm sorry, it's not always like this. I very rarely preach on this kind of stuff at all. Come back next week, I'll be better. Okay, listen. Listen. It irritates that people chase after money, chasing money, instead of planning it and have it chase them. I planted it. And the job I have right now, I'm not pastoring, the other thing. For 22 years, has blessed my family abundantly. That job didn't exist until I put seed in the ground. I'm telling you, it did not exist. It was not there. There was no job. It was not available. I did not apply for this job. I did not say, hey, is it okay if I come work for you? I need to make some more money. No. I planted seed in the ground. Dude drove up to me at the gas station and said, you need to come work for me. Now, I did know him from working for him in years past. But I'd been working at Wrangler for 10 years. Hadn't had any contact really with him. But he pulls up and says, I need you to come work for me. I got a job. I'm good. Bringing home $350, $60 a week thinking I'm getting rich. Now, this was 2001, 2000. Working at Wrangler, trying to pastor a church in Ada. Driving myself crazy. And he drives up, and I blew it off. Because you know what POUR stands for? Passing over opportunities regularly. That's what POUR stands for. Passing over opportunities regularly. He pulls up again. Jeff, I really need you to come work for me. I said, what are you even doing? I have a tortilla wrap. Who eats? I thought that's what's going on in my brain. You know, I'm not want to be rude. That's what's going on in my brain. I said, who in the world? Tortillas. I don't even eat tortillas. I didn't know they still have those in the store. I don't know. And so I said, okay, cool. Started going with him a couple of Fridays. I can do this. This is easy. This is back in the old grocery store days, man. This is easy. I can do this. So I started working Tuesday and Friday, making more than I made working all week at Wrangler. As you get on the you get on the wholesale side of grocery business, you can make some money. You get on the retail side, it's kind of iffy. But you get on the wholesale side, you can make some money. And so as a wholesaler of tortillas, I got paid a commission, which paid me more than I was making at Wrangler, working 5 days a week, killing myself. I worked 2 days a week, worked about 24 hours instead of working 40 to 45 hours, and made more money. And that job did not even job did not even exist until I said yes to God and planted a seed and started preaching at a church in Ada that I didn't even like Ada. Didn't want to go to Ada. Didn't care to go to Ada. But God said go. And I met some wonderful people. Still here. Believe it or not, they were in our church in 99, whatever, 99-ish. And they still like me. It's hard to believe, but they still like me, okay? Still like me. I say that to say that when people say that, say that's what preachers always say. It's the truth. 22 years ago, God said, here, let me bless you. We were able to bless the church, able to bless all these things that we were able to do because God has blessed us. I'll move on. I'll move on. If I beat you up enough, it's noon. Y'all ready to go? Yeah, we're ready to go, Brother Jeff. Okay. God's blessing without a sacrifice. Most church people want God to bless them and never do anything for God. Just being honest. Most church people want to sit in the pew, get a gold star for showing up to church, and have God bless them. And never do anything for the Lord. Here's the truth of it. God, if you'll bless me, well, I'll tell everybody I'm blessed and highly favored. I'll tell them I'm on top and rising. I won't mean it, but I'll tell them. But God, I want you to do something. I want you to bless me. But God, I don't want you to make my life any less comfortable than it already is. Don't make me uncomfortable. I want to be able to go buy what I want, when I want, how much I want, when I want. God, don't make me uncomfortable. Don't make me downsize. Don't make me give something that I like. The blessing comes from obedience and sacrifice. Obedient to his word. Sacrifice your comfort. God will never ask you to do something when all your conditions are just right. Doesn't happen that way. Well, I can just pay when I pay off my house. Well, when I pay off this car. Oh, when I get this wedding out of the way. Oh, when I get this done. Oh, when I get this done. Oh, when I retire. Oh, when I do this. Oh, if I can just get this. Oh, if I can get that. Never gonna happen. Not gonna happen. God will never ask you to do something when all conditions are right. God asks you when you can't see how it's going to be done, because the just shall live by faith. The just shall live by faith. Now, let me just ask you a question. I'm going to let you go and let you go ponder this at Don Ciro. What is your first reaction when God says to give? You say that. What is your first, when God moves in your spirit to give, what is your first reaction? Well, I can't. Well, I can't. He wouldn't ask you to do it if he said you couldn't do it. Well, what is it? Well, when you say, oh, I can't, we don't want to sacrifice anything in order to give. We want to give the 20 out of the 20,000 in reserve. Israel ain't it. I know it don't look like it now because I'm fat. Okay. But there have been many, many times in the past that God said, give it, and it was all of it. No, I'm not talking about we didn't have nobody in the background saying, oh, let me help you up, let me prop you up, let me take care of you, let me do this. It was half a tank of gas for the week, fried taters and fried weenies for dinner, which is an awesome dinner, by the way. Put them in that skillet. Oh, throw a little ketchup on that, man. That'll make you fat. Fat. There have been more times than I could tell you that God said, give it all, and we did. And he met a way every time. I've never done without, as you can tell. I've never done without. I don't want to give 20 and keep 20,000 in reserve when God said give 20,000. I want to give it all. What we'll say are things like this. Well, that's not God's voice. You know it's God. And if you don't know it's God, then you're not his. According to John 10:27, it said, my sheep shall know my voice. Acknowledging it's God makes you have to obey it or not. What's God say? Well, why would I do that? Why? This is why I won't. No one ever gives to me. Well, you're a blessing then. Well, why do I always have to help somebody? Because you're a blessing. If I give it, I won't have it. Not yours in the first place. Until you get that into your spirit, we will never do this. Well, why should I give it? What's the benefit? Well, why should I? Will I get blessed from this? Well, why should I? They have more money than I do. Well, why should I give it? They can earn it just like I do. Interesting. You know what the Christian response is when God says give? Who is it, God? Who is it? God, you just tell me right now, who is it, God? I got you. I got you. How much, Lord? God, how much? Who is it for? How much? Well, is that going to be enough, Lord? Is that going to be enough? They say, I heard God say it's time to give. Christian response. Honey, give me your purse. I know there's something down the bottom of that thing. Y'all see my wife's purse. You know there's money in the bottom of that thing somewhere. That's a savings account for her. God, I thank you for the blessings in my abundance, God. That's what Christians say. Guys, I want to be one of the 138,000, one of the 138 to give $1,000 and say, we're done with this debt. I want to be one of those guys. I want to be that one. Can't wait to give it. Can't wait to give it in the offering. Listen, church, look at me. Giddy up. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm tired of begging. Oh, God, please. Oh, please. Are you tired of your situation? Tired of it? Then do something about it. I'm sorry to bore you. I'm sorry this turned into a hostage situation. But I'm trying to get something into your situation. I'm trying to get something into your spirit. I get something into your spirit. See, Lauren, you guys, seeds produce fruit. Produces what I'm speaking into in that building. $2,000, right? $2,000. Going to our building. See, I don't give by accident. I've been saving this to give. I don't trip and fall down and say, oh, that quarter fell in the office plate. Oh, by accident. No, I plan on giving. It's just as much as our bills. I plan on it. I budget for it. I give it because God said give it. This is what bought your pews. And I'm gonna mess some of you traditionals up right now. I'm gonna mess y'all up. Some of y'all traditional Pentecostals are gonna never come back. That's okay. I love you. How do you get a harvest of corn? How do you get a harvest? Go. You look really stupid, wouldn't you, if you're standing out in the middle of a field that you haven't done anything to, going, God, give me corn! Oh, God, give me corn! And your feet start hurting. God! God, bring us a harvest! Oh, God, bring us a harvest! I need corn and I need vegetables of all sorts, Father. Bring them. You look like an idiot. Traditional Pentecostals, look at me. Look at my nose. You can't pray in a harvest you ain't sowed in. I don't care. You can't prophesy one in. You got to plant it and you got to receive it. Now, I don't believe that. I know you don't. It ain't worked for you yet, has it? I'm just asking. And it worked for you yet, has it? You out there screaming for corn. God's like, I gave you corn seed. God doesn't produce stocks. He produces seeds. Seeds produce the stock. God don't make chairs. God makes trees. And people make chairs. I'll leave you alone. I'll let you ponder this and talk about the preacher. I don't really care. I'm trying to get something to you guys. I'm trying to get something in your spirit. Brandon, come on here. Chase? Brother Chase? Time to do something about it. Do something about it. Let's quit letting the devil have his way. Time to start doing something about it. Your spouse is there beside you. Time to do something about it. Quit allowing the devil to have his way. You say, I'm sick of that. Huh? Praise the Lord. There's another 1,000. That's 3. We just need 135 now. I need 135 people to give $1,000. We'll be done. Anybody watching online? Yes, LaWanna. Praise the Lord. There's another one. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Amen. Kevin, come here. Kevin. Let's see. That's why it's supposed to be. Come here. I need you to write some stuff down. You got a pencil, pen, piece of chalk, crayon, magic marker, stick, something. We're getting money for our building. Babe's got $1,000. LaWanna's got $1,000. Donald's got $1,000. Brother, I don't know your name. I'm sorry. This brother right here in the back. Scott got 1,000. Becky got 1,000. Tammy got 1,000. Clay got 1,000. Richard got 1,000. Melissa got 1,000. Sister Brenda got 1,000. Keep your hands up, because I missed you. Casey got 1,000. Bailey got 1,000. Sister Denise got 1,000. Linda got 1,000. Richard got 1,000. Paula got 1,000. Becky got 1,000. Barry got 1,000. Mike and April got 1,000. Cassie got 1,000. Becky, Buster got 1,000. Randy got 1,000. Kevin, we got 2. I got cash. Carolyn, Israel, thank you guys. Brandon got 1,000. Yes, Stephen and Paula, not just one, but both of them. 2,000. Is that everybody? Blake, will you give me the offering bucket? Perfect. Bring it when you get it. Bring it. Bring it. Bring it. Come on, you guys, come on forward. I want to thank you for your giving. Yes, Martha. 10,000. Yes, April. April and Mike have 5,000 instead of 1,000. April and Mike Lane. I need a total when you get a total. I just want to know because I don't have a clue. Whenever you get a total, Kevin, I need a total. I just need to know close. Now listen, I know not everybody in here can give 10,000. That's amazing to me. No one's ever done that for me. That's amazing. Thank you. Not everybody can give $1,000. You say, I want to be part of this. I'm gonna put something in. I want a seed planted in this because I'm gonna receive out of this thing. And that's what these guys are here for. You're just gonna pass by and you do whatever you need to do. If it's, I don't care if it's 25 cents. Put 25 cents in. Listen, I gave 3 cents in an offering one time because that's all I had. I stuck it in the envelope, put 3 cents on it, put it in the thing. Because that's all I had was 3 cents. To my name. It's not the amount, it's the amount of your gift, man. It's from your heart that God's. The widow's mite, she gave more than all the people gave everything because she gave everything that she had. So Blake, you and Inkle go by. Do your best today. See what God will do if you'll give him an opportunity. See what God will do if you'll give him an opportunity. I'm putting seed in the ground. Okay, listen, look at my nose. Look at the preacher's nose real quick, and I'll get you out of here, I promise. Look at the preacher's nose. You now have skin in the game. Everybody that is blessed and saved in that building and in this building, you now have skin in the game. You now are being blessed because of that. Not just watching it happen, you now have skin in the game. Because God is amazing. God is amazing. I don't know what else to do but stand to your feet. Can we just worship God for just a minute? Father God, in the name of Jesus. Father God, in the name of Jesus, can we play a celebration song? Something's got some pop in it. Put a little jelly on that jam. Let's do something. Hallelujah. Let's just play something. Look what the Lord has done will work for me. I don't care. That's a go-to. Let's go.
Oh, look what the Lord has done. Look what the Lord has done.
He healed my body. He changed my mind. He saved me just in time. And I'm going to praise his name. His power is still the same. Come on and praise him. Look what the Lord has done. Look what the Lord has done. Look what the Lord has done. He healed my body. He touched my mind.